Hey everyone, this is Tracy with TTT Nutrition, and I have decided to start doing mini trainings on Thursdays. So I know this is a live video. I figured that would be more fun to be interactive in case people want to comment along or drop questions below. I can see them as I'm talking. But I would like to keep these fairly short, sweet, to the point, and I'll upload them so you can catch the replay. So if you do, make sure you drop below that you're watching it as the replay. I'd love to see that, and hopefully that's something that can keep you entertained for your next walk or your drive to work. And this training in particular goes hand in hand with our monthly intention. So if you're unaware of what those are, TTT Nutrition puts out a monthly intention every month where we just prioritize one behavior to help us with lifelong, sustainable, slow change over time. And this month is hitting your daily protein goal. So feel free to drop some hashtags below that we're using. Hashtag protein for the win, protein powder, which I love from Coach Becky, and protein on protein. So if you find these tips helpful, feel free to add that tag to your post and tag nutrition@ttt.com or myself at TracyTucker_TTT. So we also have an accountability chart that I've put in this group and on our Instagram, but if you need a screenshot of that so that you can stay accountable and have that resource, feel free to DM me or drop a comment below. So for today, the 3 easy ways to get more protein in. So I'm gonna break each of these tips down for macro trackers and then mindful eaters. So whatever category you fall into, there's advice for each one for each tip. So the first one is to evenly distribute your protein throughout the day. So I don't know about you, but the worst feeling is getting to like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon and seeing that you have like 90 plus grams of protein to consume or like 100 grams left. And it's really, really hard to get in. So I have found it better and easier to obtain and achieve if you take your total for the day. So if my goal is 135 grams, and I save 30 for a post-workout shake, I have 105 grams left. And then I divide that by 3 or 4 meals that I'd like to have for the day. And that's how much protein you have for each meal. I have found if you do that, it doesn't make it seem so hard because there's no meal that you're having an overwhelming amount, and it's like a small win at each meal. So that should be helpful there. And if you're a mindful eater, you simply want to make sure that you have about the same protein size at each meal. So if you use like your hand measurement guide, so some people are recommended 1 or 2 palm size servings of protein depending on your build. So if you're 1, you'll just want to make sure that you have 1 size at each meal. And if you're 2, you'll want to have 2 at each meal. So that should keep it pretty stable and consistent throughout the day. And it's important that to keep in mind that if you're just starting off paying attention to your nutrition and really trying to dial it in, it may be easiest for you to start off with lean protein options. So when I say lean protein, that's around like 3 grams of fat or less per serving. And I say that because if you're looking at your palm and it's a really fatty meat option, it might not be a full palm of pure protein. So starting off with those lean options, mostly of all protein, super lean, just might help you reach your goal a little bit faster. The second goal is to adjust your serving sizes. So I don't know about you guys, but when I first started my nutrition journey, I was recommended 3 grams of protein per meal for my build at the time. And for some reason, I don't know if it's just like that old habit kind of stuck with me, but that's something I revert to, even though I really need my protein serving sizes to look more like 5 to 6 ounces per meal. So I found if you simply bump them up by like 1 or 2 ounces per meal for your total intake for the day, that can be super, super helpful in achieving your daily target. So for those macro trackers, if even you're used to 5 ounces, you may need to bump it up to 6 per meal or 7. So that's something to think about too when you go to the grocery store, because nothing's worse than planning for like 5 ounces at each meal and then running out of protein like a day and a half later. So making sure you're stocking up your fridge for the fresh proteins of the week, and then having those backup cases of emergency in your freezer. If you are a mindful eater, you want to simply bump up maybe your palm size serving. So I kind of like to think of the palm into 3 chunks when I'm looking at it for food. And so if you are usually, they recommend 1 palm for if that's appropriate for you, and you want to try bumping up it a little bit more, you can simply add in this portion. Okay. All right. And then the last tip I have is to prioritize protein at your snacks first. So a lot of times I think people don't tend to lean on protein as a snack. Maybe they, or I should say, snack options tend to be higher in carbs and fats, and those are not a bad thing. However, if we take advantage of the opportunity, like we're already eating at a snack, if we can start by adding in, for those macro trackers, 10 or 15 grams of protein in your snacks, that can really also help just have you hit your total target for the day. And same thing with those palm, if you use the palm measurement for your protein serving, you'll just want to maybe do like 1/3 or like a half or even 2/3 of your palm for your snack to start. And I think then pairing it with a carb or a fat is a good option there. But I think if you can do the protein first, that's also a really, really, really good habit for when you travel. So, or if you're at, staying with family or travel on vacation, it's usually hard to find good size protein options. And especially you tend to not snack as much. So if you get in the habit of snacking with protein first, I think that'll help you achieve your daily targets a little bit faster and not take so long to acclimate and accumulate over time. So these were my main 3 tips today to help you get in more protein in an easy and fast way. So just to recap, you want to evenly distribute your food, adjust your total, your serving sizes per meals, and then prioritize your proteins at snacks first. I would love to hear in the comments which one you think you'll start with first, if you need to do any, or if you have any questions or anything regarding protein or the things we talked about today, feel free to tag me below and I will answer you promptly. And I can't wait to chat next Thursday.